All right, so I think I made a mistake. I was thinking I had this spool of blue filament, and I thought it was ASA, and now I'm pretty sure it's PLA because I've clogged the hell out of my nozzle here. And so I started taking it apart, and I said I might as well let the people see the guts of the hot end. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit just to say what I've done so far. I also have a funny kick in the teeth here. So I don't know if you saw that I got a new phone like yesterday, Pixel 7 Pro, $1,000. Bought it primarily for the camera because the camera that I'm recording with right now has been failing, and so I just went to use it for the first time as a camera, the new one, and it doesn't have a headphone jack. And then, so I said, "Ooh, you know what? I have a USB to headphone jack adapter because the people at Insta360 are also evil, and my 1-inch camera also didn't come with a headphone jack, and so I had to order an adapter from them, a special adapter from them, to work with any microphone, and I have the DJI wireless. But even for their wireless, you have to buy this bracket and adapter. And strangely enough, it's proprietary and does not work as a USB adapter. And so I'm going to have to just buy a Bluetooth dongle for that, which I have a couple of them around, but I haven't used them in years, and I'm sure the batteries are dead. So we are back to the old camera for the moment. So, all right, let me backtrack. Now, at least this is nice and cool now. So I decided this time. Last time I just kind of struggled and reaching around things to get the heater out. But this time I said, you know what? I'm going to try to take this printed circuit board off, and that might give me a lot better access. And so there's 3 screws there, and I pulled those 3 screws out, and it really didn't want to come out. And so then I said, oh, what if I unplug this? And I unplugged it, and it still didn't want to come out. And I started to take these off, but then I remember last time I took these off, they were a real bear to get that back together because the springs in there basically tensions the linear rail bearings, I believe, because the springs in there. So what else would they be doing if not that? And so then I realized, so if I pull this down, so I pulled this connector out, and that I could move it around a little bit, but I actually had to pull it down and then out, and then it came out. So if you're trying to get this out and having a hard time, pull it down and then out. So that does give me a lot of nice access here. And what did I just lose? Screw, I'm sure. And oh, I was going to say I don't see it, but I do see it. Where is my magnet on a stick? It is not here, but I have a long screwdriver and I have a magnet. So I do have a magnet on a stick, just not the one I bought as a magnet on a stick. All right, screwdriver, magnet, nailed it. All right, crisis averted. I'm sure there'll be plenty more crises in the next few minutes. Pretty unfortunate that I did this because I'm like, if this is not ASA, I'm going to be kicking myself. And I was like, it's got to be ASA. And I even I put a lighter to it so I could smell it. And I was like, yeah, it smells like ASA. But I guess I don't know the difference between the smell of ASA and PLA because it's. And I was like, I wasn't sure if that was the problem, but you could see on the bed there was like a couple of like tiny balls of kind of clear plastic, and like obviously it was way hotter than it was supposed to be, and just dribbled out. So it's definitely a lower temperature material. And that pretty much leaves us with PLA or PLA. So as far as materials that can't take the heat as much as 260 degrees. Any other materials that I have can take 260 degrees, so it's going to be PLA. Lesson learned. And I don't want to destroy this heater sock because the last one I replaced, I did destroy it, but it was already damaged anyway, so I didn't care. But I tell you, you don't want to print without this, so it'd be good to have the spare one. All right, this is cool enough now, at least. I mean, I was printing it. Oh, I guess I was only printing at 260, so it wouldn't be too bad. So, See, I have a whole bunch of plastic up around the nozzle, and so I think what that means is that the plastic was leaking up over the top of the nozzle and coming down. So it's probably, the sock is probably bonded in there with molten PLA, or formerly molten PLA. And I also don't want to damage the heater because this could be salvageable. I do have a new heater assembly to go on that I want to put it on right now. And then I'll set this aside and maybe I can sell. I just tore it. Son of a biscuit. But actually, that's probably still usable. I wish I could get around to the other side. I don't see a way to easily take this out. Actually, though, if I take these two screws out of the heatsink, where am I? Sorry about that. If I take these two screws out, maybe that will give me much easier access. Let me give it a try. Too small. Got my trusty Weehaw bit holder tool here. Well, that's in there. I don't know if they're using high temperature Loctite or no. That doesn't even make sense because it's too high temperature for. I think to the high strength Loctite. I think to remove it, you apply heat, and I imagine it's less than 300 degrees C. So, but I could be wrong about that. But all right, so it's going. Look at this little Weehaw wrench. Love this thing. It's super nice. Weehaw, W-I-H-A. Not a sponsor. Maybe someday. I'm going to contact them someday when I get some more subscribers. I think it's tough to get some sponsors when you have 173, I think it is, subscribers. Which, thank you to my subscribers. Obviously I need to come up with some more compelling content to grow faster. I'm working on it. I'm new. I have some thoughts on what to do better. Make it more interesting. But if nothing else, printing with cool printers and just sharing my experiences. Because I know sometimes when I'm looking for videos on YouTube, I'll find, 2 videos on the subject and it doesn't quite give me the info I was hoping for. And so I figure if I just post too much, maybe something will be helpful. And that's not coming out. Alrighty. You still on camera there? Yeah. I mean, I got screws on the side. Well, I guess so. Well, I wonder. What if I could poke my wrench right through that sock to get at those screws? That's an idea. I'm going to try that. Could be a horrible idea. Could be a great idea. We'll find out. Oh, and I can't use the tool for that because has too much girth. But I can use the little actual L-shaped hex key that I have here. And the tricky part is if I'm just going to stuff it through there, how can I be sure I have the right one? I don't have any calipers out here. I think it's probably this guy. But the round one is not going to poke through, I'm sure. Ooh, I have a poker. I have this ancient awl. I bet it's as old as me. I can poke that through there. Get myself some access. I wonder if it'll just be rubbery and not poke through. Actually, if I pull that down with the tweezers, poke that through. There we go. Poke that through. And just maybe I can get this wrench through that little hole I just made. There it is. And then I can get at this screw head, hopefully. I seem to be way misaligned. What is my problem? Why does it look... I mean, I can see the screw threads, and they seem more inboard than I was expecting, but whatever. Oh, maybe I see why, but... And there's probably a bunch of melted plastic in the screw heads also, which will be working against me. I don't seem to be getting any engagement. I wonder if I can just kind of pull this out of the way without tearing it. I really don't want to tear it. Although, you know, the new one has a red sock on it. And so, maybe that one's more durable. Maybe that's why they do that. Switch to the red. What's the red stuff? Is it like Viton or something? I mean, maybe you can get them all in whatever color. Seems to me in the world of like silicone O-rings, or silicone O-rings. In the world of O-rings, because they make them out of all different materials, which was my point in the first place. So what the hell am I talking about? I just gotta bite the bullet and tear this thing right off, because that's what's happening anyway. I hate to do it. But I'm gonna do it. We're probably totally not on camera. So I just moved it. I'm like, yeah, we are on camera, but I just moved it back to where I thought we were. So I'm gonna do it. I'm sure it's all melted. Like the heater was already... I was in this one once before, and the heater was already very charred and stuff. Wow. That's actually worked out. I didn't totally destroy it. I just pulled it inside out. And I mean, it tore at one place, but how about that? Pretty nasty. Let's put her right side in. See how it looks. Could still be salvageable. If I could get some of this plastic out of there. I'm trying to not wreck it. Should probably have safety glasses on. I'm pulling on this and it's rubbery. It's going to go flying like the debris. I have shards of melted plastic in my eyeball. Wow, not bad at all. Just a little tiny tear. Oops. Just a little tiny tear. That is officially reusable as far as I'm concerned. Save it. All right. Yeah, as you can see, that heater. Oops. As you can see, that heater looking a little roasty toasty. So we'll replace that with the newbie. Bam. So Creality, they send me so many parts. Every time I send them a message, they send me parts. Just can't fault them for that. I'm slightly annoyed that I just did my firmware update yesterday. Did I already mention that? And totally fixed my under extrusion issue. And the first item on the list of bug fixes for this update was correct under extrusion issue. And I'm like, you kidding me? I've been using an under extruded printer knowingly for 3 months. But it seemed to not be bad early on, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I'm sort of suspicious and paranoid by nature, and so I wonder some things. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, so here's our new one with the red sock. It's funny because I have this light on my head, and I turn my head to look in the camera to see if I'm in view, and the light misses the thing. So I guess I have to take the sock off anyway. So let's do that. So again, I'll try to do it without destroying it. Not a huge fan of how easy these are to destroy. But I guess if I get the technique down, pull it from both sides and go inside out, and I'll probably totally gronk the other parts. I'll be like, I save the silicone, and I'll chuck the whole thing on the ground. It's gonna shoot out and hit me in the eye. That's what's gonna happen. It's like a slingshot. Bam! Right in my eye. It's so difficult to remove because you can't. I mean, you need two hands, and then there's nothing to hold it by. I could hold the heat. I definitely don't want to hold that in my teeth. Come on. How about the other way? Yeah, at least this way. it'll shoot through the wall instead of through my skull. Hey, there we go. There you go. That's the trick. Push it away from you with your thumbs. There we go. Pull it inside out. Look at that. I've done this so many times now. I'm starting to... It's almost like I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave it inside out because then I can just put it back on and put it right side in and it'll go right on. So I don't know if you've seen the difference between the... Ooh, do I have the... I should have the first gen one here somewhere. The original one. What did I do with that? Well, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time trying to find that. But I'll show so I think there was the original one, and then there was another one with the black, also with a black sock. The original one had a black sock, and I'm like, where did it go? Where did I put the thing? Oh, it's still on, still in there. So well, I guess I'll pull it out and then compare them. But you can see here, this one's got the thermistor. It's a metal sleeved one now, so it's much more protected. And there's no Kapton tape on here. Whereas previously, the first one, there was just a little bit of Kapton tape. The second one, there was a lot of it was covered in Kapton tape. Kapton tape is the good stuff. We use that on spacecraft assemblies and stuff. If you need to tape something down on spacecraft components, that's that orange tape they use on spacecraft. If you're ever looking at like video of manufacturing a satellite or something, they use that orange tape. And that's called Kapton tape. And they actually have to use a certain adhesive with that too, because in spacecraft stuff, they have to be concerned about outgassing, which is basically like the new car smell. You know, you get a new car and it has that smell. That's because the plastics are new and they outgas, meaning some of the chemicals evaporate out of the plastic and you can smell it, and it takes a long time to happen. But if you go into vacuum, it outgasses way faster, especially in high temperatures. And so on spacecraft, if you have like a visual sensors, like star trackers and things like that, and then the plastic outgasses, and then it does a vapor deposition. So the vapor deposits on whatever lenses you're trying to use, and then you're blind. And it sucks paying, $5 billion to put something in space, and then it doesn't see, and it's a floating piece of junk. So you can't use a lot of different materials. You can actually go to, I don't know if the public can still go to, you go like nasa.gov/outgassing, and you can look up how much, not that anybody wants to do that, but if you I think it's interesting that you can find this stuff out, and they do all kinds of testing. It's like a database. So if some company does some testing, I gotta hit that set screw that is on the back side. All right, I'm going to flip this thing forward for a minute. And that's going to be not on video because I'm not going to reconfigure for 1 second, for the sake of loosening a set screw. It's going to take me about 2 seconds. I'm going to pull. So here's what I do when I'm going to lean it forward. I just pop the display off. You lift it, pull it up. It just snaps off. And the cable's just long enough that it can rest right there. And then I can close the door, I believe. Yep. And then I can tilt it forward so I can get at the back side of this and get that set screw. I'm not going to bother filming that because, well, you know what? I can. Okay, I'll just lay it completely on the front. And so you can see here. There you go. That's set screw right there. So you just loosen that a little bit. You don't have to take it all the way out. I'll show you. So this guy right here. And I was not lucky enough to pick the right size the first time. Should have known. That was the big one. I have 3 of them out. That's the huge one. Okay, so that's the one. Wow, that was pretty loose. So just, one turn. Enough to just loosen it up. And that should move now. And it doesn't. I think I only took one of those screws out. No, I see 2 screws. Why is it not moving? Still on video, yeah. It's probably all melted plastic in there holding it in. I'm guessing. I want to put this right back up. And the feet are gone. The feet are off. It does have these annoying rubber feet that if you slide the thing around, the rubber feet fall off. And then it's tricky to get all 4 back on without the other 3 falling off. All right, we're back this direction. Oops. So get that set screw out, and I got those 2 screws out, so this should just come out, but it doesn't seem to want to move. I may need to heat this up. Well, there's also filament stuck in there up above the... I'm sure it's jammed at the top. All right, what am I going to do here? Let me think about this. I mean, it's a heat break, so even if I heat up the nozzle, that is not going to... Well, it's going to... The foot came off. Even if I heat that up, that is going to be stuck in there, and that's going to be stuck in there good. Now I'm scared. I am scared now. I don't want to break that off inside. Break the heat break off inside.